Hi there. My name is Emmett. I'm known as the God Singer. And this is episode 1 of a long story of my walk with Jesus. So, I'm 62 now. I got saved in 1965, 57 years ago. I've been walking with Christ and known God for the whole time. Hard times and good times. I've lost everything a couple of times and always got back more than I lost. When it all started, I was born to very poor parents. My dad was a gas station mechanic. And I remember I was always quiet and shy little boy. I had a brother that was just wildly outgoing and very popular. But I wasn't. I was always quiet and shy, very artistic, I'd draw pictures and I was always talking to somebody. I remember even at a very young age, at like 3, I was always talking to somebody. And I know I wasn't talking to myself because I was getting answers back. So, I never knew who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody up there. Along about first grade, I was, sitting in the class, and there was this girl in front of me and sat there, and we would talk. Her name was Erlia, and I thought she was the most beautiful little 5-year-old girl on the planet. And I would have followed her over a cliff. She had these long, dark, curly hair, and she was just so sweet, and we were good friends. Well, one Monday, she invited me, and you got to understand about this is the early 60s. Your kids walk to school. We walked the 1.5 miles to school at 5 years old and didn't worry about any weird stuff going on. We'd walk to school, we'd walk home. As long as you called your mom on the telephone, she didn't worry about you not getting home in time. So one Monday she invited me, look, come to this after-school church program with me they have on Mondays from our church. It's Southern California, it's La Crescenta, California is on a hill like this. And the school was here, and the church was up here, great big Baptist church up here, and there was a row of little cottage houses right across the street from the school. And this old lady, who was the Sunday school teacher, lived in one of those cottage houses, and she would have this Monday program. So I went, following Erlia. I would have followed her over a cliff probably. And she would tell, the classic, she had the felt board, and she would have, this is Jesus, and there's Paul, and here's, telling the stories, and it was very interesting. And along about the second Monday, towards the end, there was always 4 or 5 of us there. She would ask us, is there anybody who would like to invite Jesus into their heart and walk with him, and he'll be with you forever? And I was like, yeah, I'd like to do that. So I did. And I remember, after, saying the prayer, it's not much of a sinner's prayer when you're 5, but I said the prayer. I remember walking home, the whole way walking home, I felt like I was walking like this far above the ground. I was just inflated and wonderful. But for the first time in my life, that person that I had been talking to, for a couple years before that, actually had a name. It was Jesus, the Son of God. And I would talk to God, and God would answer me. And from that time on, I knew I was talking to God, and God was answering me. And that was the start of a very long walk. And I've been through a lot of stuff, but I always felt good because I could talk to God, and God was talking to me, a 5-year-old boy, and he said, suffer not the children to come to you. And there's a reason, a 5-year-old can be saved. A 5-year-old can walk with God. And I've been walking with God all my life. And the story continues. When I was 6, about a year later, the following summer, we were at a barbecue with my parents, and you know, and my dad left early, and he took me and my brother with him to go home. My mom was going to stay and help clean up or something. And on the way home, there was an accident with a drunk driver, and my dad careened off the thing and it hit a mountain with his car. Well, I went over the seat. It was early, like a 62 Plymouth or something. I went over the seat and hit the mountain and hit the metal dashboard. It was a point right in the mouth. Knocked all my teeth out, cut my face way open up here. You know, that's why I have a mustache. It covers the scar. But my dad backed out, and he just drove home, and he was hurt pretty bad himself. He made it home, and then he passed out on the couch. And I remember running into the bathroom and looking in the mirror and screaming because I saw that my face was cut open, my teeth were all gone, blood was everywhere. And a 6-year-old sees that, and I didn't know what to do. And my mom wasn't there. My dad was, hurt and passed out. So I remember, every night we would sit by our bed and say, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord the soul to keep." And so I went in there, I ran into the bedroom, and I got down on the bed like this, blood everywhere, and I'm going, "Now I lay me, now I lay me, now." I'm like, "God, I don't want to die." And it was at that cry, at that time, God put his hand on my shoulder of this 5-year-old boy kneeling down and said out loud in my ear, "I'm right here." He said, "I'm right here." And he carried me. He picked me up and carried me into the living room and sat on the couch and cradled me in his arms. And I tell you, I have never been so much at peace in my entire life at that time and sleeping in God's arms. I know it was God. I know his voice, and I know he held me. And the next thing I remember, I woke up in the hospital being sewn up and taken care of. But I'll never forget God himself speaking out loud. And you don't often hear God speak out loud, but he spoke out loud to me. I remember that. I'm right here. That's only happened 3 times in my 57-year walk. And it's always at the lowest point of your life when he'll come and speak to you out loud. It was because of that, at 5 years old, that I no longer believed in God, but I knew God was real. It's different to believe in something and then to know firsthand that something is real, having witnessed the real thing. And I know it was real. I know he held me. I know his voice. I have known his voice since then. I spent my whole life knowing God is real, not just believing in something that I can't see. And I speak to God often. This story will continue. There are 3 other times when God spoke to me out loud in similar circumstances. But just know that God is real, and he'll always be there for you. To be continued. God bless you.